Hello everybody, welcome to my podcast. Clay is what I want to talk to you about, using clay. You have to be very careful with the clay if you want to use it, because there are two sorts of clay that you can buy. One of the clays that people use for their bodies is an outside clay. It's external and only external. If you ever want to take clay internally by putting it in a drink, you have to use the internal one. Please do not get them muddled up. When you buy it, it will tell you on the outside which is which. The concept of the clay is that it's like a poultice when you use it on the outside of the body. So when you mix it up and then you put the clay on you, as it dries, it draws out any negative parts of the area there, and also vibrationally it will actually draw it out. And that's what I wanted to speak to you about, is that when you use it, it's not just working on a physical level, it's also vibrationally drawing out negative vibrations for that area. That's why it's so powerful and such a good thing to use. You'd make a little like a slurry or is it a paste, and then you put it on the area, and then next you wait until it dries off and it will start to pull off. You can actually feel it drawing off, and then wash it off afterwards. The clay works well. I think it's a really good healthy choice to use when you've got places on your body, maybe you've got a sore knee or sore toe, or you want to put it on a spot or some area that isn't very healthy physically, and you just put it on. You can also do a clay bath. Be careful of your pipes when you do the clay baths. I kind of always have a little bit of a reluctance to do too many clay baths because I'm not quite sure if it's getting stuck in my pipes. But one way, I spoke about this in another podcast, you can actually use a bucket and take most of it out and put it on your plants. The plants will actually like it because the clay's got a lot of nutrients in it. The internal way is that you take a little bit, and it'll tell you on the outside of your little clay that you've bought to take internally how much to take. I would actually take a little bit less than they say. Remember, a lot of these places are trying to sell you their product, and so they want you to go through it quickly. I would err on the side of only a little bit. And the same thing works with taking it internally, that as you take it, similar to charcoal, it picks up toxins and it'll pick up things. It's very good to do during a cleanse because it'll help the body to clear things out so you can take it internally. There are many attributes that are written about taking clay, and I think many cultures used to have clay and take clay because medicinally they actually knew it helped to clear the body and the intestines and the bowel and the stomach, because it picks things up as it goes through and it adheres to, and it can't be really digested, so it comes through your whole system. The idea is to use as a cleaner. I don't think using it every day is good. There are proponents and people who recommend that you take it every day. However, I feel that the body needs things at certain times and then doesn't need them. And I think you've got to do it quite intuitively, knowing whether you should keep taking it. I think you can use kinesiology, ask your body if it wants to have it, or use your pendulum. Don't always go by what the directions are. Do what's best for your body and how your body reacts. I've used clay in the past, and I used it for a few months off and on. I also have used it when I intuitively get a feeling I should do something. It's very messy, so if you're going to do it, it's messy, and it will fall all over the place once it dries. And so I prepare a little bit better than I used to. I usually put towels underneath where I'm going to be sitting or laying or whatever. And the other thing is, if you do it in the winter, it will take quite a while to dry off, so you might want to supplement it by using a little heater or one of those heaters that blows hot air on it so it will dry. You will actually feel it pulling off as it dries and starts to crack. You will actually feel it drawing off. It's similar to a poultice, and you can actually put other things in the clay. Some people put other herbs in it, ground the herbs and put in the clay to add to the potency of it. You can put essential oils in your clay mix as well, and that will actually affect it as well. It'll be very interesting for you to check the clay before. I've done that with my pendulum. I checked it before, and it has a very nice high vibrational energy because it's full of minerals from the earth. And then when I checked it afterwards, my pendulum went backwards, which is always a sign to me that it's negative energy. So it did draw off. And I did that with the bath too. I checked the bath before, bath water with the clay in it before I got in, and then afterwards. And it definitely does draw off negative energy because I could see that with my pendulum. When you stay in the clay bath, it's up to you whether you have a shower afterwards or not. It's probably not a bad idea to have a quick rinse afterwards because you've actually got it still on your body, but that's a choice that you'll want to do. If you've got any areas that you want to experiment on, do it with the clay. If you're worried about, if you've got a very sensitive system, I would put a little bit of clay on my wrist and leave it there for a little while with a bandage, just make a band-aid or something, just to make sure you're not allergic to it. It's a healthy practice. A lot of people use it. A lot of people do it. They probably don't talk about it. Some people are going to say, oh, yeah, guess what I did this morning? Oh, I had a clay bath. But it's the reason why these mud baths are so popular and people swear by them because the mud packs as well, because that's basically using the clay idea and it draws off the toxins from the body and clears the area. So have fun experimenting with clay, but make sure you get the right one. Do not take the wrong one internally. That's very, very important for you to understand. And don't get them muddled up because you can easily get them muddled up. So off you go and do your clay packs and go and do your clay baths and maybe do your internal clay drinks and see how things go for you, because we're trying to clear up our bodies, and energetically taking the clay is a very good thing to do. It cleanses things both physically and energetically. So I'm wishing you lots of love and lots of light.